Coronation Street's Cassie Plummer makes a dramatic departure from the cobbles next week, following a sinister encounter with Ross Wilkes. Tyrone Dobbs's long-lost dad is determined to get Cassie out of the picture, permanently, and turns the family against her. But how far will Ross go to make sure she disappears? Could he even kill her? Since re-entering Tyrone's life, Ross has persuaded his reluctant son to build a relationship with him. Cassie freaked out when she and Ross reunited, knowing he was a sleaze bag who paid to sleep with her when she was a teenage sex worker. Despite Cassie doing her best to make Ty see his true colors, manipulative Ross has played the doting daddy to a T, but Cassie's not fooled. Unfortunately, Cassie's attempt to prove Ty's dad is a bad lad backfires this week. She tries to poison Ross, so he fails a drug test for a job, but horrified Steve McDonald dumps her when he finds out. Reeling from the acrimonious end to their relationship, Cassie hits the bottle, while Ross laps up the sympathy. Waking up on the Metcalfe's sofa next week, mortified Cassie is told by Tim that he brought her home after she got sloshed at the cab office. Heartbroken, Cassie explains it's over with Steve and Tyrone has thrown her out, having taken Ross's side. Frustratingly, Ross has pulled the wool over everybody's eyes, including Cassie's nemesis Tracy. With a heavy heart, Cassie realizes there's nothing left for her on the street, and announces she's got a job on a cruise ship. Stubborn Ty remains steadfast in his belief his mom has messed up one too many times, and chooses to give Ross another chance rather than her. She bids an emotional farewell to her grandkids, and is given a family photo by daughter-in-law Fizz before heading off. Waiting to meet Steve in the precinct and hoping to part on good terms, Cassie is stunned when Ross pulls up. What does he want? Cassie is taken aback when Ross offers her a lift, but decides this could be a good opportunity to get him on his own, so he drops the act. However, as soon as she's in the car, he locks the doors and roars off as Steve arrives. Is Cassie in danger? She's been rejected by the love of her life and her only option is to take this job, reveals Claire Sweeney, who plays Cassie. Whether she actually makes it to the cruise ship, or what happens when Ross takes her, no one knows, and it's left wonderfully open. Speeding off is the last we see of Cassie, and the following day Steve quizzes Ross about where he took her. Having initially denied seeing Cassie at the precinct, until Steve says he saw her get in his car, Ross changes his story and says he drove her to the train station. Ross is clearly hiding something, and as the week goes on, Fizz becomes more suspicious of his shifty behavior. What has Ross done to Cassie? The cobbles are about to be shaken by one of the most emotional storylines of the year as Coronation Street appears to confirm terrifying death fears for Cassie Plummer. With explosive scenes on the horizon, fans are preparing themselves for a dramatic exit that could change Weatherfield forever. For weeks, viewers have watched Cassie struggle to keep her life together. After fighting to rebuild relationships and prove she had changed, it seemed as though she was finally heading toward a brighter future. But in true Coronation Street fashion, happiness never lasts long, and the latest twist threatens to destroy everything she has worked so hard to achieve. The drama begins when Cassie finds herself caught in a dangerous situation that spirals out of control faster than anyone expects. A heated confrontation quickly turns into a nightmare, leaving loved ones fearing the worst. As panic spreads through Weatherfield, rumors begin to circulate that Cassie may not survive what happens next. The tension builds from the very first moment. Cassie has been under enormous pressure, juggling family conflicts, old enemies, and the constant struggle to escape her troubled past. Every decision she makes seems to push her closer to disaster, and viewers can sense that something catastrophic is coming. Her loved ones notice that something isn't right. Conversations become more emotional, lingering looks carry hidden meaning, and several heartfelt goodbyes suddenly seem far more significant than they first appeared. Soap fans know these warning signs all too well, and many are already convinced they point toward a heartbreaking farewell. As events unfold, Cassie is forced into an impossible choice. Protecting herself could mean betraying someone she loves, while doing the right thing could place her directly in harm's way. It's the kind of impossible dilemma that has defined some of Coronation Street's biggest storylines over the years. Meanwhile, the rest of Weatherfield begins to feel the ripple effects. Friends scramble to find Cassie before it's too late, while family members are left wondering whether they truly understood what she was going through. Old resentments suddenly seem insignificant as everyone realizes just how much is at stake. The emotional weight of the storyline lies in Cassie's remarkable journey. Once dismissed as a troubled outsider, she gradually revealed a vulnerable side that earned sympathy from viewers. Her determination to rebuild her life made her one of the show's most unpredictable yet compelling characters. Now, that redemption arc could end in devastating fashion. As the explosive episodes continue, emergency services race into action following a shocking incident. Chaos erupts across the street as frightened residents gather, desperate for answers. The atmosphere is filled with uncertainty, with no one knowing whether Cassie will make it through alive. The suspense is carefully crafted. Producers keep key details hidden, allowing speculation to spread among fans. Every trailer, every preview clip, and every cryptic line of dialogue adds another layer of mystery. Is this truly the end for Cassie, or is the show deliberately misleading viewers? Adding to the uncertainty is the emotional reaction of those closest to her. Characters who once struggled to forgive Cassie suddenly face the terrifying possibility of losing her forever. Regrets begin to surface, and painful truths emerge just when time appears to be running out. One particularly moving scene sees family members reflecting on everything Cassie has overcome. They remember her mistakes but also acknowledge the courage she showed in trying to change. It's a reminder that even flawed people deserve second chances, a theme Coronation Street has explored for decades. As the crisis deepens, secrets that have remained buried for months threaten to come to light. Hidden betrayals, unresolved arguments, and painful confessions all collide in dramatic fashion, creating an emotional storm that leaves viewers on the edge of their seats. The possibility of Cassie's death sends shockwaves across social media. Fans begin sharing theories about how the storyline will end, with opinions divided. Some believe the writers are preparing one of the year's biggest tragedies, while others suspect a dramatic last-minute rescue will save her. Soap audiences know that nothing is ever guaranteed. Characters have survived seemingly impossible situations before, while others have been written out without warning. That uncertainty is exactly what makes the storyline so gripping. If Cassie were to die, the consequences would be enormous. Families would be torn apart by grief, relationships would change forever, and several ongoing storylines would take unexpected new directions. Her absence would leave a noticeable void on the street. However, survival wouldn't necessarily bring a happy ending either. A near-death experience could force Cassie to confront the mistakes that continue to haunt her. It might also encourage those around her to finally forgive old wounds and move forward together. Sometimes surviving can be just as life-changing as tragedy itself. The writers appear determined to keep audiences guessing until the very last moment. Every episode introduces new twists, making it impossible to predict exactly what lies ahead. 1 minute hope seems possible, and the next everything falls apart again. This unpredictability has become one of Coronation Street's greatest strengths. Rather than relying on simple shock value, the show builds emotional investment through complex characters and believable relationships. That's why Cassie's storyline feels so powerful. It isn't just about danger, but about the people who care for her. As the explosive climax approaches, Weatherfield prepares for one of its darkest nights. Sirens echo through the street, desperate cries fill the air, and frightened faces search for any sign of hope. Every second feels critical as the battle to save Cassie reaches its emotional peak. Whether this truly marks the end of Cassie's journey or simply the beginning of another chapter remains one of the biggest questions facing fans. The producers have revealed just enough to spark fear while carefully protecting the outcome. Whatever happens, the storyline promises unforgettable performances, heartbreaking emotion, and the kind of edge-of-your-seat suspense that has made Coronation Street one of Britain's most beloved soaps. For Cassie, the coming days may represent the greatest challenge she has ever faced. Friends and family can only watch helplessly as fate hangs in the balance, unsure whether they'll be saying goodbye forever or welcoming a miracle. One thing is certain, when these explosive scenes finally air, viewers won't want to miss a single moment. Whether Cassie survives or not, the repercussions will be felt throughout Weatherfield for weeks to come, leaving characters and fans reeling from a storyline that could become one of the year's most unforgettable soap moments. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to Crown ST.